VocalSynth 2 is a complete overhaul from its predecessor, VocalSynth 1. We've added a new module called BioVox, new and improved effects, deeper control and customization of VocalSynth 2's sound engine, inter-plugin communication capabilities, enhanced stereo processing functionality, meaning we can now pan from a global level or at a module level. A gorgeous new user interface with an animation in the center that reacts in real time as you bring in new modules to craft your sound. But you can also interact with this animation by blending sounds together from the modules through these sliders.
I feel so much more than I know. I'm really, really ready to go. Everything.
And finally, optimizations in sound quality and CPU performance. Let's dig into a few of these improvements to help you make the most of VocalSynth 2. The first stop is BioVox. We use scientific modeling of a human vocal tract to develop this brand new module so you can adjust vocal characteristics like nasality, breathiness,
waiting for you.
You can adjust the performance for a bright or brooding vocal track.
With you. Waiting.
And finally, the clarity parameter to increase intelligibility.
Waiting for you.
We've also allowed the user to change the vowel shape. For example, if I go to this little button over here, we get advanced controls and access to the vowel pad. So let's say I wanted to change the vowel structure to the end of this vocal where the singer says sky. In the original, he ends with an ah sound on sky. Have a listen.
Up into the sky.
But with a little bit of automation, we can change the vowel structure so that he ends with an I sound instead of an ah sound. Watch the pad.
Up into the sky.
Also, adding BioVox is a great way to bring depth and smoothness to your vocal chain.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for you. You to see that I can't stay here.
The effect section of VocalSynth 1 was a fan favorite. In version 2, we've added a much requested feature, the ability to drag, drop, and rearrange modules. We also introduced a chorus effect, which adds a dreamy richness and depth to your vocal.
Up into the sky. Up into the sky.
We now have a ring modulator that doubles as a unique tremolo-like effect.
Up into the sky.
Also, our shred effect has been completely rebuilt, allowing you to more effectively slice and sequence your audio. Here's before,
I can see the pain of the blind.
and here's after. Also, it's a great idea to experiment with shred on non-vocal material. So for example, I'm in a rock session now and I've put shred on an acoustic guitar. See how it adds a kind of frenetic picking style that just wasn't there on the guitar. I'm going to play it without the effect, then I'll bring it in, and then I'll play the entire effect in the context of the mix. Here's the soloed guitar. Turn shred on. And now here it is in the mix. For existing Music Production Suite, 08N2, 08 or Neutron 2 customers, we've added inter-plugin communication abilities to VocalSynth 2. This means you can call up VocalSynth 2 in Neutron's masking meter to monitor and evaluate how your track is competing with other aspects of your mix.
I've been waiting.
You can also control the loudness, panning, and width of any VocalSynth 2 instance in your session from Neutron 2's visual mixer.
And I can't stay here with you.
And finally, you can select VocalSynth 2 instances in tonal balance control to gain insight on how your vocals contribute to the overall tonal balance of your mix. For version 2 of VocalSynth, we focused on improving sound quality and adding deeper control across the plugin. This means that now you can press this button on any module to reveal more parameters so that you can really go in and sculpt your sound. For example, in the vocoder, we can now change the volume and panning of our bands. This means that if I want to emphasize the low end more than the high end, I can just drag my mouse across this field, and now it sounds like this. Of course, I can do the inverse. Now the highs are louder than the lows. I can also change the panning of the bands. Let's say, for example, I wanted everything on the low end to be left and higher frequencies to go right. Have a listen. We've also added per module oscillator presets, which you can toggle here or from here. The density of customizability in VocalSynth 2 doesn't stop there. For example, we can change the panning at a module level, again by going into this drop-down menu, and let's say having vocoder to the right and Biovox to the left. Also, I can change the filter output. So let's say I wanted to give all of the low end to Biovox. I can perform a low pass like this, and I wanted to give all the high end to the vocoder. I could do a little bit of a high pass right there. So now we have different panning and different frequency outputs per module. Finally, we've made improvements to the CPU performance of VocalSynth 2 to better protect against overloads and optimize the plugin's overall performance. So, thank you so much for watching this video. We can't wait to see how you're going to use VocalSynth 2 in your next production.